Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. Today's video is going to be slightly different in the fact that it's inspired by my Instagram account. Now, if you're not following me on Instagram, please go ahead and do that because you're missing out on great content like this, and a little bit of this. Yes, I know, very fantastic. But as part of that, I also try to post quick movie and video game reviews, whatever I'm watching, whatever I'm playing, and I try not to actually review things until I've completed them so I can really let those feels sink in. And many of you have mentioned that you'd like me to share these feels in video form, so that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So if you like this type of video as kind of a compliment to my other videos, let me know in the comment section below, or more importantly by leaving a thumbs up, because that really helps my channel. It lets me know what you're thinking as well. And if you hate it, then maybe I'll just keep doing these just for spite, because I'm big on that. But today I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Unity for the PS4. In order to do that, I think I also need to give you a little bit of background on this particular series and myself. I played the first installment of this game on the Xbox 360, and I played the follow-up installment aptly named Assassin's Creed 2 on the 360 as well. And from there, I really took some time away from this particular franchise. The reason for that is I really feel like this game is very similar to the Madden football series, meaning that every single year they release a brand new game where all it really is just kind of a recover of the same old stuff they've been putting out, and there's not much new there to really enhance the gameplay or make the experience overall better. So I really took my time away from this series for quite a bit. That is until I picked up a PS4 on launch, and many of the games out there were just non-existent. There wasn't a lot of games out for the system, so I pretty much bought whatever was available, and one of those games happened to be Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now, this game I actually really enjoyed. I think a big part of it was the fact that, number one, it's pirates, and besides ninjas and zombies, pirates are right up there in the top 3 for many people, and the fact that, again, I took some time away from this franchise, so there was a big gap between me playing the last installment. So this really brought a lot of things back, or maybe just refreshed my memory. But overall, I thought it was a very solid game. A lot of fun things to do, from hunting whales and building your ships and all sorts of stuff. So that brings us on to Assassin's Creed Unity, which was released roughly again about a year later from the last installment of Black Flag. Now, with this, one of the things that I was really hesitant about picking up this game at first was I heard a lot of bad things about it. And most of those bad things were due to the game not being finished. So you can do a search for YouTube and look at Assassin's Creed Unity bugs and find all sorts of weird glitches and bugs from the game itself. So obviously this can really be a big detractor for some for playing this game. If it doesn't work right, if it's broken, so to say, it's not going to make your experience any fun. However, for me, what I did is I actually waited a couple of weeks until after it was released to pick it up, because most times game developers will release patches and fix a lot of these issues. Hopefully. So for me, I didn't really run into that problem whatsoever, so I got a pretty decent gaming experience in that sense, where I didn't experience a lot of bugs, either that or I just didn't actually notice any of them happening. Now, for me in this series, the story of this, without giving any spoiler alerts, to me, playing the 3 or 4 games that I've played, it seems the story is almost identical in every single one. All that changes really is the time period. So it's a very similar experience in that sense. You're not going to be blown away or surprised by any of the story aspects within this game. I should also note that I only really play these games for the single player campaign and not the multiplayer aspects that are in place. Although this one, what's unique is you can actually play some of the single player campaign with friends. So it's a little bit of blend. Although I don't spend too much time on that, mainly because I just don't have any friends. Sad face. Now, one of the things that's always been really impressive to me about these games is the environments that you're in. So their ability to recreate these different locales. In this case, you're playing in Paris, right around the time of the Revolution. And the atmosphere and environment is just really awesome. It's really a spectacle to see, literally walking around these towns. As part of that, one of the other benefits of this game is they've really managed to cram a lot of character models into this game. Like literally, there are people everywhere. Everywhere. So much so, in fact, that I actually think that's one of the negatives about this game, is there's just way too many people walking, standing around, that it makes really traversing through the environment quite difficult to do. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. If you've played these games anyway, you would say you don't go on the ground, you go in the sky, you go on the buildings, you go through trees, all sorts of stuff, that real parkour type mentality. And normally I'd agree with you. But one of the things that I noticed with this game particularly is the actual traversing of buildings is very difficult to do. They added in a lot of extra animations, which again reminds me of the Madden series where they just update player animations. But as part of that, it makes going from building to building, tree to tree, very difficult, and is actually a big pain in the ass in my opinion. So for this game, the controls is something that usually you would want to have good control over, hence the name. However, with this one, I found it was actually a big drawback. I had a very difficult time managing through the city, both because of the people and the way the actual characters controlled, that sometimes it was very frustrating because it wasn't very realistic in my opinion. One of the things that Black Flag did so well was add in a lot of other content into the game to make it more enjoyable, whether it be collecting things, completing certain other items for people in order to improve your ship or whatever. Things I've mentioned already. Unity tried to do something similar, but their problem is they just went overboard with all the things you can collect and all the other things you can do that don't really add to the main story. And in this case, it was broken in my opinion only because it doesn't really add anything to your overall gaming experience. There's nothing that you can really build or cultivate, so to say, that's going to improve your chances of playing the game, whereas in Black Flag, it definitely did. So for me, I found that it was kind of just a waste, and in my case, I didn't even want to start doing it too much, only because it got so boring and tedious that I was like, this is just not fun. It's not for me. So for this, even though I completed the main story, I completed the game, I only really completed, according to the main menu, roughly about 40% because I didn't collect all the things to find. But to me, again, having a different outfit doesn't really add anything for me. So overall, I did enjoy the game. I would probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. It could have been better. The reason that the score wasn't as high is only because it doesn't really make any improvements upon Black Flag. In fact, in some cases, in my opinion, it actually takes a little bit of a step back. But if you like the series, I'm sure you'll like this game. The bugs are fixed. And as I said, you can play with friends if you have them and aren't forever alone. So let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about this game if you've played it. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.